What started off as a potentially daunting slate with the Heat limping home from a Western Conference road trip with 3 consecutive losses now sets up to be sweeps week if Miami can finish the job Sunday against the Milwaukee Bucks after knocking off San Antonio, the Los Angeles Lakers, and tonight the Philadelphia 76ers 113-92 here at American Airlines Arena. How did the Heat get this victory? It was a number of ways. Several different factors went into play that led the way to the victory tonight. You could start with balance. Miami had 8 players score between 7 and Chris Bosh's team high 30 points. That just speaks to the level of depth that this team has right now, and it seems like that depth is coming together pretty quickly and pretty easily. And again, this is happening with star guard Dwayne Wade on the bench, which Miami is now 6-0. It's just still a coincidence, but at the same rate, this is becoming more. This thing is picking up more and more steam and more momentum as people begin to debate whether Miami is a team that's playing right now better off without Dwayne Wade. I still say that's absolute nonsense. And earlier today, Coach Eric Spoelstra called it the theater of the absurd if you're going to continue to raise that question. But nevertheless, Dwayne Wade is still recovering. The latest update on him right now is that he's going to continue at this pace. Don't expect to see him tomorrow for the game against Milwaukee, but he is making progress. We frankly don't know when Dwayne Wade will be back in action. At first, it looked like it was going to be maybe sometime this weekend and sometime on this 5-game homestand. But as of tonight, Coach Eric Spoelstra would still give no indication on when Dwayne Wade might make it back to the lineup. For now, the Heat are playing well without him. That's frankly the honest truth at this point, and I don't think there's no denying that. It is a sensitive subject. It is a very touchy subject. But at the end of the day, Dwayne Wade is happy on the bench seeing this team continue to stockpile victories as he gets a chance to recover. With each win Miami Heat has or gets with Dwayne Wade out, it buys him even more time and eliminates the sense of desperation for him to come back. He's an ultimate competitor, but as of right now, this team is doing pretty well moving forward without him. We talked about the balance. Miami had 8 players score between, as I said, 7 points and Chris Bosh's team high 30 points. LeBron added 28 tonight. The momentum swing in this game happened early in the third quarter when the Miami Heat used a 23-8 run to basically blow open a 21-point lead, and they basically cruised from there, even though Philly wouldn't go down without a fight. Credit that team. Doug Collins is doing a phenomenal job again this season with that young team that's going to be a huge factor as we see them progress and mature later on as this season progresses. Defense was key for Miami tonight in stretches. It was one of those cases where they dominated on the glass, out-rebounding Philadelphia 52-31 on the boards. And Miami also had 6 players with between 6 and 10 rebounds. So that's another element of the balance that you're starting to see with this squad right now. Efficiency. This homestand has been all about efficiency for the Miami Heat. Offense, we've seen them score 120 points the other night against San Antonio. They were right back at 113 tonight against the 76ers. But not just points are the factor here, but also the way that they're scoring their points. Miami shot 54% from the field, and again, they maintained their hot stroke from beyond the three-point range with 43% from beyond the arc. So when you're playing that way, when you're playing with that much balance, that much depth, that much spurtability, you're going to win a lot of games when you have the talent that the Miami Heat has. And right now, this is a perfect example of Chris Bosh, LeBron James, and the supporting cast stepping up to sort of fill the void collectively that Dwayne Wade is leaving with his injury status at this point. As we talked about, this show is all about you and how you felt about this game and what you saw, things that you're concerned about, things that you're happy about, how this team is progressing. And that's what this show is all about. As again, we talk about this being the Heat Index post-game temperature check. So I'm gauging your temperature tonight to see exactly how you feel. So as we wrap up this part of the show in the recap, we move forward to the questions that you sent. Again, it was great feedback from our inaugural debut show Thursday night after Thursday night's victory over the Lakers. So we're back again tonight with another show recapping this game and looking forward to Sunday's matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'll get right to your questions at this point, your concerns and your comments at this point, and try to address them as we move forward. We'll start with a question on Twitter. Not saying, as a matter of fact, this question is from Luis Rodriguez. And he asks, not saying the Heat are better without number 3 in the lineup, but they really seem to be playing better right now. What are they doing differently with him being on the bench? Well, what you're seeing from Miami, and LeBron James talked about this as well after the game. I had a chance to go to the locker room and catch up with LeBron, and his quote after this victory was, "We looked at this as a huge week. Everyone is stepping up their play just a little bit with Dwayne being absent, and this is exactly what we expected to do as a team." What LeBron is saying there, obviously he puts it simple. I don't have to translate his words, but what he's saying is that they look at this opportunity right now as a chance to prove that this is the right supporting cast for this team. Obviously, this team is going to get Dwayne Wade back eventually, but while he's out, that's extended minutes and extra opportunities for other guys. And we're seeing that. We're seeing a guy, like a Mike Miller, getting more minutes to sort of play his way into shape after missing majority of the start of the season with that hernia surgery. We're seeing Shane Battier play his way into a rhythm with additional minutes to get acclimated with this new team that he signed with just a couple of months ago. So what you're seeing is a perimeter based rotation, getting more time, getting more opportunities to make mistakes and learn from their mistakes and keep it going. And that's what's been different. What's been different is these guys are stepping in unafraid to shoot. They're playing well with LeBron James being the facilitator, and everybody is sort of coming together. We're seeing Udonis Haslem slowly get out of his shooting funk. We saw Shane Battier do the same thing. So everybody is doing a little bit something more as we see these opportunities come more regularly with Dwayne Wade as he continues to heal from that ankle injury. I go to the next question from Thomas Russell on our Twitter feed. When Wade returns to the lineup, it'll be interesting to see how Spoelstra manages the minutes and the rotation. Will it be based on matchups or something else? Well, the fact of the matter is Dwayne is going to be inserted into this lineup. He's going to get his 32, 36 minutes a game, and he's going to find a way to be effective with this team. And I know Dwayne is a very, very interesting topic at this point, but the bottom line is that he's going to have to come in and make an adjustment to the way this team is playing now. I don't think it would be fair for the team to have to adjust to Dwayne Wade's playing style. I think he's smart enough and he's mature enough and he's advanced enough and knowledgeable enough and confident enough in his own game to be able to step in, see where this team is playing effectively, and try to fill in the holes where it's not playing effectively. But at the end of the day, he's a finisher, he's a clutch player, and he can help this team be even better when he comes back. But as of right now, we still don't know when that is. Moving right along with questions, with more questions here. David Allen from our Twitter feed. How long do you think it'll take before Eddie Curry gets into shape where he can be a solid contributor to the rotation with Joel Anthony? Well, Eddie didn't play tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers after playing 6 minutes and making his season debut Thursday night against the Lakers. And the reason why was because Philly went to a smaller lineup. Spencer Hawes is still out recovering from an injury, so they didn't have their big center there. And there was no need for Eric Spoelstra to play Eddie Curry in this sort of up and down pace. It wasn't necessary. Both teams went small. As a matter of fact, the fourth quarter finished out with LeBron James playing the 4 and Udonis Haslem and Chris Bosh sort of alternating at the 5 there. There was no reason, and this wasn't the kind of game where Eddie could have been effective, and there's no reason to put him out there right now in situations that are going to be too difficult for him at this stage of his comeback. There will be opportunities for him to play, maybe even Sunday with Andrew Bogut potentially on deck here. Jared Isaacson asked from our Facebook feed, what should be the number one priority for the Miami Heat this season? Should they be gunning for the first seed? Should they try to work on overcoming the zone, which was a problem earlier this season? Playing better on the road is also a challenge, or ending this season healthy out of those choices. Obviously, I think the easy answer to this is ending the season healthy. Miami has to be healthy. That's something that they haven't been in 2 seasons now of this project since the Big Three got to town. So the easy answer there is to get healthy. No matter what it takes to get into the playoffs, get there, go in there playing relatively well, but first and foremost, get healthy as you get there. We're going to move on with another question from Sean Ferguson from our Facebook feed. Where does Mike Miller fit in once Dwayne Wade gets back? Well, that's going to be an interesting rotation issue for Eric Spoelstra. But Mike Miller has earned his minutes. He had another phenomenal shooting display tonight. The guy has made he had a stretch where he made 9 out of 10 3-pointers since he's come back. And what we've seen in the 3 games since Mike got back into the lineup is the fact that this team is shooting well above 50% from 3-point range. And the game has been opened up a lot more. The floor is opened up a lot more with Mike being there. So he's going to be a guy that's going to maintain his minutes. Shane Battier is definitely going to maintain his minutes from a defensive perspective. And the ultimate decision for Eric Spoelstra is going to be, do you expand your rotation from a 7 or 8 man rotation, which is what most coaches and what Pat Riley used to always have, or are you going to go with a 10 and maybe 11-man rotation, but primarily a 9 or 10-man rotation for most of the games? And I think that's where you're going to see this team goes 10 deep easily at these positions, and I think they're going to continue to go 10 deep when Dwayne Wade gets back into the lineup. Chris Zaluga, apologize if I screw your name up there, but Chris asks, is there any chance that Miami can get Steve Nash? And also, what do I think about Eddie Curry and the chances of him eventually playing 20 to 25 minutes and have Joel come off the bench? Well, I don't think it's necessary right now for Miami to go out and get a Steve Nash. I think they're absolutely comfortable with what you're seeing at the point guard position with Mario Chalmers and with Norris Cole, the rookie, coming off the bench. I mean, Norris sort of had his his struggles the last few games after that great start to the season, but he bounced back tonight in a big way with a big boost off the bench, and we saw Miami put up some decent numbers off the bench tonight to sort of match Philly, and I think that's where this game sort of took off when you had Norris Cole, Mike Miller, Shane Battier, those guys, Udonis Haslem, come off the bench and give you a really, really nice spark. And if those guys can continue to contribute at that level, I don't think there's any question at all that this team can go much further. Maybe just 2 games is all they need to go further, but go further than what they did last season from a continuity standpoint. Eddie, it's a long way to expect him to play 20, 25 minutes, so I think we'll revisit that question later on as the season progresses. Next question comes from 604 to 305. That's a Twitter feed at 604 to 305. The name is Chris Mackey. And the question Chris asks is, what were my thoughts on Evan Turner, the fine Philadelphia 76er second-year guard, and what is his potential? Where does his potential stand? I was really impressed. I mean, 2 guys that stood out to me in terms of the way that they changed the pace of this game tonight were Norris Cole for the Miami Heat when he came out and really got that second unit going up and down, and Evan Turner. The way he played tonight I didn't see that at all last year. This is a guy that could, in his second season in the league, be considered a key candidate for most improved for the way he played. The guy is long, 6'7". He can hit the jumper. He was sort of known as a shooter when he came out of Ohio State. But we've seen him put the ball on the floor and attack the basket. And I'll tell you this about Turner and what I was impressed by. Shane Battier this week has spent this week putting up some amazing defensive pressure on quality guards. As a matter of fact, last week, he shut down. We saw what he did against Joe Johnson in that triple overtime game back in Atlanta when they were playing without Dwayne and LeBron James. Then he goes out and locks up in Golden State Monte Ellis in the fourth quarter. The other night, we saw Kobe Bryant get off to a horrible start because Shane Battier was defending him. And what you saw tonight was Shane basically struggled to guard Evan Turner. So that tells you Evan's ability to go to the basket and round out his game is going to make him one of the better shooting guards that we see once he continues to develop at this pace. Next question comes from the Twitter feed at Ronald PE1, and Ronald asks, Mr. Wallace, I know you're a Miami Heat beat guy. You covered the team. I don't look for you to say anything critical or bad about this team, but the Bulls are still the best team in the East. Well, yes, that's what the record says that right now. The Bulls have some of their injury problems of their own, with Derrick Rose dealing with his toe injury. So they're sort of similar to Miami. But what Chicago doesn't have, even though Carlos Boozer is playing at a high level with Derrick Rose out, is they don't have an MVP the way that Miami has in LeBron James, who continue to play at an MVP pace all during this homestand. So Chicago and Miami obviously are my pick and everybody else's picks to make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And we'll see just how much Chicago develops and has grown from last year with the addition of Rip Hamilton to go with an improved Carlos Boozer. That team has to stay healthy though. But Mr. Derrick Rose, the MVP, the reigning MVP, has to be upright and ready to go when that series gets here, as many expect. I'll take a couple more questions and then I'll wrap up the show. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. But the bottom line is that the Miami Heat are rolling right now, and the questions are rolling as well. Mr. Third and 43, another Twitter question at Third and 43. The Heat are 6-0 without Wade this year. What was their record without Wade last year? And well, also, what was their record without LeBron? Well, last year I did some research. It didn't take me long, but the Miami Heat went 3-2 without Dwayne Wade last year. They went 0-2 without LeBron James. So I think what we need to do at this point is calm down on that debate a little bit, slow your roll. This Miami Heat team is going to stay together. There's no reason to break them up right now. They're winning. There's prosperity. Dwayne Wade wants to be back. He just has to take his time to get healthy. And once this team gets healthy, they'll be just fine. They're just fine right now, as a matter of fact, with Dwayne Wade on the mend. So as we close this latest edition of the post-game temperature check, I just wanted to point out a couple of things. Again, Eric Spoelstra wrapped up this game by saying the Heat are able right now to get to their identity and get to their activity. And we're seeing that with 3 consecutive double-digit victories this week over the Spurs, Lakers, and Philadelphia 76ers. 3 teams that will be in the playoffs this year. Tomorrow, they get a chance to go up against another feisty quick point guard in the rookie there in Milwaukee, Brandon Jennings, and basically Norris Cole and Mario Chalmers did a 1-2 number on Drew Holiday today. We did see Drew shoot or get held to just 4 of 12 shooting today from the field. So Drew Holiday had his struggles against Mario Chalmers and Norris Cole, but Brandon Jennings is a different guy. Milwaukee's coming in with a different sort of team, a different sort of pace. They're a little bit bigger on the front line with Bogut there as well as Drew Gooden. But that's a team that's struggling as well this season at 5-9 coming into tomorrow's game. They've had some off the court issues with guard Steven Jackson being suspended for 1 game for showing or not showing up to a team function, a team workout. So that team comes in. They're always dangerous. They play defense. They can give Miami at least some troubles on some fronts. But the way Miami's playing right now, I don't think any team out there can really stay on the floor with them for much longer than a few possessions. Really, I mean, Miami has spurt ability, and that team has been playing this way for the most part all season. So the big talkers from tonight's game, you're going to focus on what LeBron James did in scoring 28 points and having another all-around effort tonight. And Chris Bosh, obviously, you look at what Chris Bosh and LeBron James did. They combined for 58 points there, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists. So those 2 guys are the key highlight players of the game. While you focus on them, I'm going to tell you about 2 other guys that really, really set the tempo and the tone that won't get them enough credit for what they did tonight, and that's Mario Chalmers and Joel Anthony. When you look at what Mario Chalmers did tonight with 11 points, 8 assists, and 0 turnovers, that tells you that this young kid is maturing into a starting point guard that this team can rely on. And Joel Anthony finished with 9 points and 9 rebounds and 3 blocks. Just 1 basket and 1 rebound short of what would have been his second double-double of his career. And he wasn't able to get that double-double because he didn't need to play late in the 4th quarter because Miami had put this one away. So that's the show for tonight. Again, from American Airlines Arena, where the Miami Heat wrapped up a 113-92 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers to move to 11-4 in the season. They face the Milwaukee Bucks Sunday here and will look to go 4-0 and sweep this homestand, the first 4 games of this homestand, and go undefeated this week. There's one other game after tomorrow to close out the homestand, Tuesday against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So as of right now, again, the Miami Heat are rolling. All systems are go. Dwayne Wade is still probably a week maybe away from getting back into action, but the team is rolling without him. They moved to 6-0 without Dwayne Wade. And they, believe me, they want him back just as much as he wants to be back, but they're fine right now without him. So, signing off from American Airlines Arena for ESPN.com and the Heat Index's post-game temperature check, I'm Michael Wallace. Thanks a lot for joining me again.